Start.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Pranam to Guruji, pranam to Dr. Mishra ji. My humble namaskar to all other members on the dais. Namaskaram to Amit ji. Namaskaram to the host of Hindustan New Channel. Namaskaram to the uh, controller of this system, Nagendra ji. Now, let us, without spending much time, I am very thankful to the viewers also. Because of the viewers' presence, only we are getting encouraged, and the whole system, whole talk is becoming lively. Now, without spending much time, we'll go to the topic. The topic today is Post Nuclear Leakage Crisis. Shortly, we can call it PNLC, and how this can be managed, what are the procedure, and what is the system or what is the technology by which we can manage it. So it is found that yoga is the solution for this. How it could be. So that is what we are going to discuss in this webinar. We are going to discuss that PNLC will come once in a blue moon, and what are the reasons for PNLC, and what are the impacts of PNLC on the human system or even the persons who are working nearby or who are getting affected, and how to overcome that, how to neutralize or how to minimize this effect of PNLC. And then as we have understood that yoga is the solution, so how far yoga is scientific, what is the basis of yoga, and how yoga can be utilized by the common people. These are the major topics which we are going to analyze here, or which we are going to share with each other. Now, as I mentioned that the PNLC is going to happen or going to be a sort of experienced once in a blue moon. This is because it happened whenever this catastrophic effect is there, whenever atmosphere or whenever nature has got, there is a sort of earthquake or tsunami at that place where nuclear installations are there, then it is bound to have the PNLC. For example, in 2010 or so, we had this kind of effect at Fukushima, Japan, where at a time in tsunami and earthquake both happened, and the nuclear reactor got broken. So naturally, the post-nuclear leakage crisis, a sort of all radionuclides connected to that came into the atmosphere, and people got affected. So this is one of the ways that PNLC comes out. Other way is the human error or operator's error. That we have experienced in Chernobyl power plant, that operator's error, and there also there was a huge amount of post-nuclear leakage crisis. In addition to that, we have also experienced during World War II that a bomb was dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and then post-nuclear leakage crisis, or we can say PNLC, was experienced, and management was a hell or a problem there. So we understand that PNLC is going to come once in a blue moon, whenever these are the regions of PNLC occurrence, and it cannot be avoided. Then let us think for the solution. So what we have observed that yoga is the solution, and what way yoga is going to sort of neutralize the effect of PNLC, or yoga is going to be the rescue for that. That we are going to analyze. Now, during PNLC, what is the impact of PNLC on human being or on the victims who are nearby, who are near the plant or wherever nuclear weapons are dropped? What are the impact on that? So for that one, we will see that slide will explain with the help of slide that slide movement is not there now. This is the problem. Slide movement is not there. Now, now we'll see that this slide describes that during peaceful use of power plant, when we are getting power, as we know that atomic energy is a boon in one hand. This is because a handful of uranium is equivalent to tons of coal. But at the same time, it has got the bane like PNLC. So this shows that during peaceful use, a human being is getting protected from alpha, beta, gamma and neutron radiations, and for that when paper can be a shielding material, then aluminum is there for beta rays, and this for lead is there for gamma rays, and water and concrete is there for neutrons. So like that this is being managed, and there is no problem whenever peaceful way of production is there. But the same amount, this alpha, beta, gamma and neutron is getting multiplied during PNLC. So because of that there will be impact on that. In that case, we will have a sort of impact. First impact will be on 3H. What I mean to say, human body consists of head, heart and hands. It is in yogic term. Head, heart and hands means head is a left lobe, heart is a right lobe, right hemisphere, and hand is our spinal cord. Each human being is having only three things: head, heart and hand. And all the three are getting affected, and that's why it is so harmful, or it is so sort of we have the point of concern about that one. So 3H we call it. 3H is getting affected. Next, we can say because of 3H we will have a sort of impact on whatever cell level, because mind gets affected, and mind in turn is so weak that we get our central nervous system very weak, and that provides us a sort of fear of death, then phobic anxiety, then depression, all kinds of anxiety will come into picture, and we will be very much perturbed. Affected people will be very much perturbed. So this happens, and the reason for being perturbed is oxidative stress is more during PNLC time. Normally every day we are having, whenever our metabolic change is there, we do have the oxidative stress. But that is being nurtured, or that is being minimized with the help of antioxidant present in our system. But this, what is oxidative stress? It is actually, it affects our whole metabolic system, and this is a sort of stress which is because of reactive oxygen. So for that we have to, reactive oxygen has to be minimized, or oxygen containing even it's odd number of this oxygen can create this oxidative stress. So effect of this oxidative stress could be minimized with the help of yogic practice like deep inhalation and exhalation. This we call it SD breathing, slow and deep breathing. And slow and deep breathing can be achieved with the help of yoga. Otherwise, our breathing will be shallow and fast. Normally, most of us we are breathing in and out, which are shallow and fast only. So that to go from shallow and fast to very sort of slow and deep breathing, yoga helps to achieve this kind of technique. Now, We antioxidant, we know that this is a protective agent. This helps the cell to grow, or it protects the cell from virus and sort of bacteria. So this antioxidant normally we get from fruits and vegetables. During PNLC time, fruits, vegetable we can take from the fresh area, means wherever PNLC is not there, but the level of antioxidant cannot be retained in PNLC atmosphere. This is because of oxidative stress. So we have to have a sort of system which can retain the level of antioxidant and minimize the oxidative stress. This way, other very good element is present in our system, that is glutathione. This is a sort of, we can say that a sort of master antioxidant is glutathione. This exists between cells and our higher level of the cells once cells become tissues. So in between cells and tissues, this exists. So this also gets depleted during PNLC time, because PNLC time we are having more oxidative stress that eats away the antioxidant, and antioxidant once it is depleted, then glutathione is also getting depleted. So these are the things, these are the system by which we are getting all this one. If deficient is there, then as I mentioned to you that all the 3H will be affected. Not only that, in the blood we are having protein that will also get depleted, minerals, vitamins, all will have it in deficiency. And this deficiency will go on added. So that way, unless we protect with this medicine or some other system, medicine will protect little bit, no doubt. But that will again level of that level of glutathione and antioxidant cannot be retained with the help of medicine only, and the yoga will help to retain those things. Now, we'll radionuclides. What we are knowing that affects the whole system in our body, and this slide indicates that our glands are also getting affected. Glands means thyroid, thymus, even bone marrow system, all gets affected, and those things can be controlled, minimized with the help of yoga only. Now, we understood that yoga is the solution. And which kind of yoga? Then what we mean by yoga, that it should be Ashtanga yoga, what Patanjali has given. Ashtanga yoga means 8 limbs of the yoga should be used, should be utilized. And 8 limbs of yoga, in that which portion of yoga is more effective, that we'll see. But once we know that yoga is effective, so let us examine what is the basis of yoga, and what way yoga is having a sort of background, and what way yoga is scientific. So now further we'll go for that kind of analysis. In that we know that there is a universe, we are living in the universe, and the universe is governed by a system, by a controller, whatever name we will give the controller, that is up to us. But someone call it Brahman, someone call it truth, someone call it a sort of no thing. But there is a one control system, and that we have, that controller is going to control the universe. So that whole, we also understand with the help of Veda and Upanishad, the controller, what we call it Brahman, is going to provide its glory or a sort of grace to all beings throughout, and with the help of 8 nodal points. So this slide describes that universe consists of 8 nodal points for having uniformity. 8 nodal points, what I mean to say, what are the reasons for 8 nodal points, that we'll see later on. We'll get clarity on this. But whole universe is functioning, or whole universe is stable because of 8 nodal points, or we can say 8 nuclei of Brahman, where grace of Brahman or a sort of glory of Brahman we get through that, those nuclei or those points. In this slide, we see that there is a bindu number, we call it bindu point, means nuclei point or bindu. So there are 8 points have been shown, bindu number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this shows that bindu 1 is a controller, that is Brahman, and when it wanted to have the universe, so universe starts from bindu number 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 onwards, and 5, 6 is the effect. So we can say that the domain of 1 and the upper layer of 2 and 3 is the Brahman's domain, or you can say Brahmanhood. And middle that will examine, but universe starts from 2 on 2 and below. So that is the universe. And this universe, this is in macrocosm. Similar are the points in our human body, because Yatha Brahmande Tatha Pinde is known to us. Brahmand is a universe and Pind is a human being. So we see that in human being, in our human system also, same points are existing, 8 points are there. One is for Brahmanhood, 2, 3 onwards we are in the universe. And these points are also responsible, or a sort of launching pad for us to reach to Brahman. What I mean to say, these nuclei are the launching pad for us to move towards Brahman from lower region to higher region, at the same time to get the grace and glory of Brahman as a manifestation. So these are the points for manifestation as well as for evolution. So this we have compared Yatha Brahmande Tatha Pinde. Now what we'll have next one, that we'll try to understand that Brahmanhood, as we understood, Brahmanhood consists of there are 3 Akashar Padarth. Veda tells that in whole universe is governed by the, or whole universe is dominated by the 3 Padarthas. The Veda call it Akashar Padarth. Akashar Padarth means which is not having chara, or it is not going to get deteriorated. So as middle row shows, that we have got first Akashar Padartha is Brahman, second is Atman, third is Prakriti, nature. These Padarthas are always present, whether inverse is there or not, whether inverse is dissolved, suppose what we call it Pralaya in Sanskrit, that time also these 3 Padarthas will be there. At the same time, when we are having the universe, that time also the Padarthas are there. So that's why Akashar Padarth is called infinite and eternal. It always exists, whether world is there, whether universe is there or not. And the limbs of Akashar Padarth, all limbs have been defined on the right hand side. The Brahmanhood has got the 3 limbs, that bindu number 1 of that universe, and bindu number upper part of bindu number 2 and 3. So Akashar Padarth, Brahmanhood has got 3 nodal points. Similarly, in the same way, that Atma Akashar Padarth has got 2 nodal points, that is 2 and 3, center portion of the 2 and 3, what we are seeing in the left hand side diagram of the universe. And below Prakriti, which is the managing director of creation, it also has got 3 nodal points, that lower part of the bindu number 2, 3 and 4. So this way we are having all 3 Akashar Padarth totally has got 8 nodal points, which resembles with the nodal points of the universe. So that way the universe nodal point is based on the Akashar Padarth nodal point, or vice versa is also true. Now we'll see that Akashar Padarth is going to give a sort of these 8 nodal points are going to give the result of while we are getting manifestation from the Brahman, a sort of a glory or grace. At the same time, we can evolve from Prakriti side, from lower side, that is bindu number 4 to 4, 3, 2, again middle portion of 3 and 2, and upper portion of 3, 2, 1. So these are the steps by which we can evolve, and that way whole universe is a manifestation and evolution process is going on. We also know that this 8 Akshar Padarth is there. Eight limbs of Akshar Padarth resembles with the 8 limbs of the universe, or 8 nuclei of the universe. At the same time, our yoga is also having 8 Ashtanga yoga, 8 limbs of Ashtanga yoga. So yoga, now with this slide we understand that yoga has got the basis of Akshar Padarth, and its functional aspect is in the universe, and that is what the universe, whatever problem is there, that can be solved by the yoga, because it is matching with the limbs of Akshar Padarth, which is the main controller of the universe, all three together. In this, Brahman is a controller, and Atma Tattva is a sort of mingling with the Brahman and Prakriti. So we can say it is a connector, or it is a sort of we can say that it is a joining together. It is a huge. It is the main point of making a managing director and controller together. And controller, managing director of creation is Prakriti, which is Bindu number 4, 3, 2. So that way Ashtanga Yoga resembles with Ashtanga, 8 nodal points of the Akshar Padarth, and these yoga can work in the universal problems wherever problems exist. We also understand that science has also done some job. So we have equated this, that Prakriti side, whatever Bindu number 4, 3, 2 is there, that is understood by the scientific community, and that is nothing but the quantum mechanics or quantum theory. And that has been explained in the, we can say that particle physics table. And second, whatever is there, that nodal points existing in for Atma Tattva has been understood by science as a field theory. But Brahmanhood theory, that point number 3, 2 and 1, which has got the nodal point, that those points have not been understood by the science. Perhaps they will get understanding once they understand, they have the complete theory of string theory, then perhaps they will get. So science is lagging for the Brahmanhood nodal points. They are yet to discover. At the same time, that nodal point will give them the good picture. And beyond that, dark matter, dark energy, which in spirituality it is a Turiyatit, in Turiyatit meditation we get. So those ones also they can get with the help of Upanishad and going into the concept of Veda and Upanishad. So this way, this slide shows. Now, this slide is we have given that even Prakriti or nature's action, which is understood by particle physics, this table, there you see that particle physics means whatever they have got means a proton, neutron, electron and neutrino table. So they are the particles. Those particles exist in our brain or in our micro-inverse or macro-inverse both at window number 2, lower part of the 2. And this force carrier, which are here gluon, photon and jet boson onwards, even they call it as a they have obtained a God particle. That is not a God particle actually. So this force carrier is window number 4, and window number 3 is nothing but the interaction of these particles. Once they interact, they create some force. So that way it is shown. So why we have brought this slide, that science has also understood the applicability or application aspect of Prakriti. So that is clear to them. Now we'll see that utility of yoga. After understanding this, that yoga is a solution and yoga has got a basis it is nothing, it has got the basis from its root onwards, means from Akashar Padarth, universality, as well as nodal points of the universe, and science has also got some certain applications of that. So, what is the utility of yoga for only it can be utilized only for PNLC or something else? PNLC certainly, but something else also could be used for when human engineering also it could be used, not only for scientific field but human development it can be used. Actually, yoga defines that there is a religion in yoga that is called humanism is a religion, and there is a sort of something in the religion has to be worshipped, so only breath has to be worshipped. Our breath, what swasa we are taking, what inhalation, exhalation has to be worshipped. That is the main. And what to achieve by this worship? Consciousness has to be achieved. So this is the concept of yoga in nutshell. But utility of yoga, we'll see that it has got the wide utility, and that utility can be used or can be sort of manifested or can be utilized by human being to achieve other dimensions or other problems of to solve the other problems of the universe. Why I brought this utility of yoga? This is because there were three questions during while enrolling their names as a sort of visitors or as a sort of viewers. So one question came from Dr. Vishwanath of Pune. He certainly his question is very deep question, very good question, and very involved question. And I think he is a spiritual master or spirituality is involved. So he has asked the question that whether or do the nuclear weapons affect Vibhu or Anu. So I have thought better to give in that clear picture of this answer with the help of the basis of yoga and how where PNLC is going to give the impact. As we mentioned earlier, that whole body, three heads, head, heart and hands, left lobe, right lobe, even spinal cord, all are getting contaminated and affected. So this way, but up to he had put the two specific points, Vibhu and Anu. Where Vibhu works, where Anu works, that we'll examine with the help of three Akshar Padartha, what we have seen the nodal points. So it means whole inverse starts from Bindu number 2, as we have seen earlier, middle point of Bindu number 2 and 3, and lower point of Bindu number 2, 3 and 4. Lower point then 4th is still lower point. So whole inverse we can say has got the 5 nodal points. In the 5 nodal points, as we have mentioned here, 2, 3 middle of that and 2, 3, 4 here. So this is the inverse. Now the atomic weapons effect or impact will certainly go percolate from 4 to even 4, 3 and 2 also, it will reach up to 2. Bindu number 2 has got two a sort of adjacent we can say rooms or adjacent domain. One is for cause and other is for controller of the cause. So controller of the cause is called Vibhu, or we call it in a yogic terms or in a Upanishadic term, it is Ishvara. And other compartment is the cause, means Ishvara is the reason for the cause means Karana. So Karana of the universe starts at Bindu number 2, and their starting point is Anu, means atomic particles. So atomic particles, how comes from Bindu number 2 and how it is going to percolate or it is going to be to get the shape and going to interact and going to get going to become the post carrier and all, which science has seen. So but the starting point for the atomic particle is 2. So his question was that at point number 2, consists of Anu and Vibhu both, because a controller of Anu as well as the cause of sort of the points which is starting the which is the starting point of universe. So whether both will get affected? The answer is Anu will get affected, no doubt. Anu means atomic particle, the starting cause, the starting particles will get affected, undoubtedly. But controller of that, Ishvara Tattva or Vibhu Tattva will not be getting affected, though both are existing at two. Because, this is because Ishvara is a mirror view of Parameshwara, Bindu number one, as we have seen earlier. So that way, there is no effect of Parameshwara or Brahmanhood points. This is because they are the controller. So whole universe still exists, they cannot get affected. So that's why Vibhu cannot get affected, Anu will certainly get affected. This slide shows that one. And that is the answer of Dr. Vishnath. Now second, what question came, I think from somebody from Shimla. He is also a great thinker. He has asked whether yoga can reduce or minimize or shred the ego of world leader, and by means of what yoga? I think I forgot the name, perhaps Kiran or Prakash or Kiran, some name is there from Shimla. So thank you, sir, for asking this question. So I thought better to give the reference of Swami Vivekananda for answering, because that will give the clear picture of his question or answer of the question. So Swami Vivekananda, during his talk at London about this Advaita Vedanta, he in perhaps it is 1896, yeah. So he gave a talk at London, and there he gave a model. This model I thought better to bring it here. The model, what he says, he has given very good layman's language clear picture about controller means Paramatma, then universe means Brahmand, and then Prakriti, or we can say the what way it is the Prakriti is functioning in the whole Brahmand or universe. So he had mentioned that here I am telling that there is A, C, B, the slide he is putting. He said that A is the transparent, we can imagine transparent plate of lead sheet is there, which is very transparent, means very, there is nothing, no imprints on that. So that is the plate, whole universe, whole thing is covered by the transparent plate, that is Brahman. In the same, as we have seen earlier, Brahman projects the universe, like 2.23 onward is universe. So that is also transparent in the beginning, because there is nothing, no function in that. But once creation is started, once Prakriti, nature took over the charge of creation by taking atomic particles and creating, so that way, that is shown here by block or slot of B, where time, space, causation are the three factors. Because of that, whole universe gets a sort of imprints and all. So that the transparency of the universe gets damaged or gets a sort of doomed. So this is what he means to say, that Prakriti is a plate, Prakriti plates here, what's shown as a B. If that slot plate, if that is removed, then whole universe is as clean as Brahman, and there is no difference between Brahman and universe. But it doesn't mean that it is not possible to take out this Prakriti. Prakriti is also Akashar Padarth. It is bound to come there. It is bound to play there. Then what to do? This our time, space and causation, there only we have to have certain correction. And then if we are making certain correction, certainly we will have the pleasant Brahmand or universe. What correction we have to make here, and what is shown here in the B plate, that is time, space and causation. time is a sort of energy, space is the point of, this all 3 points can be utilized or can is a resembles with these points are resembles with our Antakarna. Antakarna we do, everybody has got Antakarna in their instrument, what we call it Mana Buddhi Ahankar. The difference between scientist and the spiritual master is only spiritual masters are using the inner instrument, Man Buddhi Ahankar, for any experience, and scientists are using external instruments like telescope and microscope and all. So that is the instrument point of view. And then result they get, whatever result they get, whatever experience they get, that they make a formulation. Here the spiritual masters also make a formulation. They get the individual experience, and those experiences are compared with the experience already given in the Veda and Upanishad by the Rishi who worked in earlier days. If those things are matching, then only spiritual masters are getting satisfied that their results okay. Like scientists, they are getting satisfied if their results are okay, if the basic fundamental equation or fundamental formulations are getting satisfied. So our instrument, human being instruments, are Man Buddhi Ahankar, and that Buddhi is existing at Bindu number 3, and we have seen that other nodal points of the Akashar Padarth or even universe or even yoga. So we, from that point of view, we can say that the nodal points are Bindu number 2 is for ego, Bindu number 3 is for intellect, and Bindu number 4 is for manas or mind. So Man Buddhi Ahankar has got the 3 places in the domain of natures, if these are purified, Man Buddhi and Ahankar. So naturally whole universe will be as pleasant as Brahman and very peaceful. So Man Buddhi Ahankar has to be cleaned, and certainly the question was whether Ahankar of the leaders can be minimized. Yes, not for all, everyone's ego can be minimized with the help of yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and that way this ego, once ego is minimized, then naturally as we have seen the other linking mechanism, we can go above that. That is when Atmahood will try to have understanding of consciousness, and then Brahman, we can go. So this slide indicates that yes, it can be, and for that this slide we have compared with the Akashar Padarth Tattva, and this way we can say that all means ego can be nurtured with the help of yoga. Then question was what yoga? For that, Ashtanga yoga is the main. Yoga has got 2 main subdivisions. One is Bahiranga yoga and Antaranga yoga. So Bahiranga yoga can also minimize the ego, but Antaranga yoga certainly. It ensures the very bare minimum or almost all ego is dissolved, and then only we are getting the Atma Chaitanya. So that way Antaranga yoga is must, but even Bahiranga yoga, this can be minimized. So that is what it is there. In addition, there was a question earlier which my classmate, engineering classmate, Mr. S.P. Pandey had given this question, and thank you, sir, for the question. But he has asked that whether which level, what age, which yoga should be followed, and at what radiation level which yoga should be followed. So 2 questions he has said. So what level, what age yoga should be followed? In nutshell, we can say that yogic process is that from the age of 7 to 14, our manas, mind, is grown or developed, getting matured. Then age of 17 to 14, intellect is getting grown and matured, and 14 to 21, our ego is getting developed and matured. So this way, teenage part of the age should have dynamic yoga. Dynamic yoga means asana more, pranayama less. But till our 28 years of age or below 30 years of age, we should have asana, pranayama, the type or Bahiranga Yoga Pratyahara up to that should be the must or should be this, we should grow with that. And after 30, we must inculcate Antaranga Yoga also, and that way we can, in a brief, we can say that Bahiranga Yoga up to 30, Antaranga Yoga afterwards we have to introduce, and as time permits, we should go for that one. Another question he was asking that what radiation? As I mentioned earlier, that whole system is getting, whole body is getting contaminated or getting impact of PNLC. So there is no radiation limit or something we can say that what system or what yoga, but certainly the victims who are working in the core level, like PhD system, moderator system or reactor building, they must go for, as far as possible, Antaranga Yoga, including Antaranga Yoga also. If not, at least Bahiranga Yoga fully. But peripheral person should have Bahiranga Yoga, and the victims should also have the Bahiranga Yoga and Antaranga Yoga as per their time, as they had a time. One thing is very important, in PNLC time, the, every plant or every installation will have some oxygen mask. So deep breathing, what I was telling, slow and deep breathing, helps a lot. That should be the first and foremost a sort of treatment or utility from yogic point of view. If oxygen mask is taken, and with that if they had a practice of deep inhalation, which they can only inculcate through yoga. Otherwise it is not. Otherwise most of us, we are having shallow and fast breathing. So to have a sort of inculcation of deep breathing, deep inhalation and exhalation will help a lot. At that moment we will have the energy, sufficient energy to work and our level of glutathione and antioxidant will be maintained, and radionuclides which are inside, which has gone inside, can be taken out with the help of deep breathing. Means it will, oxygen bombardment will be there will be bare minimum of oxidative stress, and all impurities will be taken out while exhalation, which will go to atmosphere. So that way we can minimize and we can have the control. Thank you very much for peaceful listening. Thank you.